Hello friends and welcome back to my kitchen. If you've been following along, you know we recently made a sourdough starter from scratch. If you missed that video, just click the link in the top right corner to check it out. Or if you already have your starter ready, just keep watching and follow the instruction ahead. Today we are making the next step and baking our very first 50-50 sourdough bread. It's a perfect mix of whole wheat and white flour, light, flavorful, and so satisfying to make. So let's get started. Just as a quick refresher, whether it's the last day of creating your starter or you're simply feeding it for baking, here is what we did to prepare it for the bread: 25 grams of starter, 50 grams of water, and 50 grams of whole wheat flour. We mix it all together to create a bubbly, active starter that's ready to be the hero of today's recipe. Make sure your starter has double in size before moving on to the next step. Now let's start making our bread. In a large bowl, combine the 325 grams of water and 100 grams of starter. Stir until the starter is fully dissolved in the water. This helps distribute the starter evenly throughout the dough. Next, add 225 grams of whole wheat flour and 225 grams of all-purpose flour. Begin mixing with a spoon, then switch to hand mixing to ensure everything is evenly combined. Mix until no dry flour remains. Since whole wheat flour absorbs a lot of water, the dough won't feel very sticky, making it easier to handle. Once mixed, cover the bowl with a damp towel or plastic wrap and let it rest for 30 minutes. This step is called autolyse, and it allows the flour to fully hydrate while starting to build gluten structure naturally. After the rest, uncover your dough. Now it's time to add some salt. Wet your hands to prevent sticking and sprinkle 10 grams of kosher salt evenly over the dough. Begin kneading the salt into the dough until it's fully incorporated. If the dough feels too dry, add a small amount of water and continue kneading until the salt is fully absorbed and you can no longer feel any grains. To knead, you can use the slap and fold method. Lift one side of the dough, slap it onto the surface, and fold it over itself. Repeat this process for about 5 minutes. You will notice the dough becoming smoother and stronger as you work with it. Once you've done, perform the gluten window test. Take a small piece of dough and gently stretch it between your fingers. If it stretches thin enough without tearing, your gluten structure is well developed. Now cover the dough with a damp towel or plastic wrap and let it rest for 30 minutes before moving on to the next step. Next, we will move into the bulk fermentation phase with a series of coil folds. Now perform your first coil fold. To do this, gently lift the dough from the center, allowing it to stretch, and fold it over itself. Turn the bowl, lift another side, and fold again. Repeat this for all sides. Cover the dough and let it rest for 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, it's time for the second coil fold. Gently lift the dough from the center, stretch it, and fold it over itself, just as before. Don't forget to wet your hands to prevent sticking and make the process smoother. Once you've completed the fold, cover the dough with a damp towel or plastic wrap and let it rest for another 40 minutes. Repeat this for a third and final coil fold. Then let the dough rest for 3 to 4 hours or until it has doubled in size. The exact time will depend on the temperature of your kitchen. Warmer temperatures speed up fermentation, while cooler ones slow it down. You will know it's ready when the dough is puffy and jiggles slightly when you move the bowl. When the dough has doubled in size, lightly flour your dough and work surface. Then gently turn the dough out of the bowl. Handle it carefully to prevent as much air as possible for a light and airy crumb. Now shape the dough into its final form. Slightly sprinkle it with flour to prevent sticking. Start by stretching the dough slightly. Fold the bottom corners toward the center. Then fold the right and left sides inward. Next, bring the top corners to meet in the center. And again, fold the right and left sides toward the middle. Finally, fold all the sides into the center, creating a tight bundle. Roll the dough gently and pinch the edges to seal it securely. Sprinkle your loaf with a bit more flour, then place the shaped dough into the flour-proofing basket or bowl with the seam side up. Carefully pinch and smooth the seam edges one more time to create extra surface tension. Now sprinkle your bread with a bit more flour and place it in the fridge to proof overnight, uncovered. The next day, preheat your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit with a Dutch oven inside. Once your oven is fully heated, carefully turn your dough out onto the sheet of parchment paper, seam side down. Use a sharp knife or razor to create some scores. I will show you a design here, but it's entirely optional. I'll be doing some parallel with steams and finishing with an ear score at the top of the loaf. These scores allow the bread to expand beautifully as it bakes. Now carefully transfer the dough into the hot Dutch oven using the parchment paper as a slide. Cover with the lid and bake for 20 minutes. After that, remove the lid and optionally score your bread one more time to help it open up even more. Then reduce the oven temperature to 450 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for another 15 minutes. Your bread should come out deeply golden brown with a beautiful crisp crust and sound hollow when tapped on the bottom. Once baked, carefully remove the bread from the Dutch oven and transfer it to a wire rack. Let it cool completely before slicing. This step is essential to avoid a gummy crumb and to allow the bread to set properly. Your beautifully baked 50-50 sourdough bread is ready now to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy baking along with me and learned something new today. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.